Do you believe that you spend your 24 hours of the day wisely?
Of course, you have always heard that time and tide wait for nobody. That our time is limited, and that we need to make the best use of time in order to live a meaningful life. Most teenagers are often rumored to be wasting most of their time in unnecessary things, and this is most often pointed out by the parents and teachers. Since as teenagers, you are already bombarded by your elders daily about the importance of time and how to not waste it, we will not talk about that in here. Instead, here we will talk about the philosophical and psychological meaning of time that shapes our perception of it.
Time is nothing but a multidimensional black slate, the contents of which are written down by the choice of our actions. It means, time is not determined by the hands of a clock, but rather by the sequence of our actions. No action means no time. Let's take an example. Living beings are always performing some or the other action or groups of actions. Every time. Every second of their life. In fact, the most general of the things we do, like breathing, or sneezing, or closing and opening our eyes, looking, etc., are all but sequences of actions that we perform to prove that we are alive. The concept of time doesn't exist for non-living things, as they can perform no action on their own unless being assisted, or stimulated, or dictated by the actions of living beings.
If we aren't performing any change in action, we will never know how and when time is passing. You must have heard when people say that they were too engrossed in doing something and they never knew how time flew. It's the exact same thing. Time is nothing but a state of our mind that we figure out, that is constantly changing or moving as a result of the sequence of changes in our actions. If our actions are forward, time moves forward for us, like we are born first, then become a child, then become a teen, then become an adult, and finally die. If our actions would have been in the reverse order, that is, we die first, then become an adult, then become a teen, then become a child, and then be born, time would move backward for us. Time is worthless without actions.
Now, in our state of mind, time looks like it's moving, which is also an action. Because that is the case, it would certainly have to have a path. The path time takes to travel is determined by the path our actions take throughout our lives. Because the actions performed by living species mostly take a linear straight line path, always moving in a straight sequence one after the other. That is, past actions come first, then present, and then future. Time also takes a straight path. That is, we get to know the future only after knowing or going through the past and the present.
However, if our actions would have taken an uneven nonlinear path, time would also be nonlinear for us, or in short, we can be traveling to future in bits and pieces without having to experience the past or present necessarily. Or from the future, we could have also returned to the past or present in bits and pieces.
Saying time is divided into 24 hours is only a metaphysical representation to quantitatively define our state of minds. This way, it helps make things simpler and makes sense to us. A day can be defined as the duration of our state of mind from dusk till dawn. Days, months, years, seconds, minutes, and hours were all terms that were coined, or brought into existence, to quantify the quality of life for living species, so that those who have spent their lives doing the right things can boast about the fact that they had spent their days well, while those who have not would be the ones that did not spend their time well. It is to give living species a sense of acknowledgement and conclusion of their own actions, or in a much broader sense, their own lives. They don't say time and tide wait for nobody, for no reason.
That is because an action once performed cannot be reversed, or cannot be paused, and hence time cannot be paused too. Our actions are always flowing, just like the tidal flow that is always there, small or big. There is not 1 minute or second when we are not performing any action. If there is, it means in that second we will be dead or vegetative.
Since time is derived from our actions, time is subjective, or you can say, relative to each living species. Your time of 24 hours will be different from my time of 24 hours. Thus, your time is personal to you, and it can be controlled by controlling your actions. It can be changed from a bad time to a good time, based upon your actions, or even vice versa. Philosophically speaking, one's alter ego drives one's line of thoughts and actions, and hence creates his or her perception of time. In conclusion, if you invest more of your time in your alter ego returns the favor, and lets you have enough time in your life. In other words, you are managing both your alter ego and time well.
In short, we can conclude that the actions that help us build and develop our alter egos are the actions that buy us enough time in life. So now, let me ask this to you. Are you managing your alter ego and time well? Or are you spending your time doing things that add no value to your alter ego?